Hope you're having a good day. So, um, basically, I don't know if you can hear a dog barking in the background. It is not my dog. It is my neighbor's dog. Um, it's not my neighbor to my left or to my right. I can't really identify which neighbor it is. It's one of my neighbors, like in from my backyard on the next street over, and like one of those houses, I think, because my neither of these two neighbors have a dog, but one of my neighbors, and this is totally off topic, I'm sorry, but one of my fucking neighbors has a dog and it's like always out barking, which totally understand dogs bark. And I'm not complaining like, oh, this dog barks like a normal dog barks, but I'm saying, um, they'll leave the dog outside and it'll be barking all day, all night, and whimpering, like, and you just know it wants to go inside. So if you ever hear a dog barking in my live streams, it's not my dog. I would have brought my dog in if it was. Um, No, but yeah, fucking. Anyway, I'm sorry. That distracted me. But today's topic is deaf access in the workplace. I just wanted to follow up this discussion. So, previously we discussed deaf access in society. Then we discussed deaf obstacles in the workplace. And then next, I just wanted to talk about deaf access in the workplace, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, I want to talk about fixing the obstacles we've been discussing, as well as just like accommodations in general for deaf people in terms of, I've said it twice in my last live streams, and I'm gonna say it again this third time. We're gonna be reiterating the different deaf access needs, and we'll be reviewing some of those types of accommodations, as well as discussing just how to make sure that each person um, has their accommodations met. And so, yeah, we're just going to be talking about creating a deaf friendly workplace in general. So, yeah, I'm going to roll my intro and then we shall get started. Hi, my name is Lexie, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. So, well, we've been talking about deaf obstacles at work in terms of the history of how we got to where we are living in a world of underemployment and lack of representation for deaf people, and how hearing people normalize not giving us access. We've been discussing that so far. Um, and so today I wanted just to talk about solutions to these problems. So there are different types of accommodations that I want to review, but first I want to talk about how every deaf person has a different lived experience, right? And, because of that, we also have different needs with how our brain processes information and with how we were educated and what are our languages and different things. So each deaf person has different needs that we need for our accommodation, for access. The problem a lot of us face, that as I've been discussing, is how hearing people want to just provide one option, slap a band-aid on it and call it a day and say that's good enough, and if you don't like it, get over it because they tried. But the problem is just because you're spending your resources on something we didn't ask for doesn't mean that you're necessarily trying to accommodate us. You know what I'm saying? When you try and make decisions for us, right? And so the key thing to remember is each deaf person is going to want you to accommodate them in a different way, and that is valid. And so the most important part of fixing deaf accommodation in the workplace is to be able to provide those specific support needs to each person on a case-by-case basis. Um, and so there are different types of accommodations you could be providing. Like, so for me, I work, if you're doing a lot of remote working or virtual meetings, or even during meetings, a lot of offices and meetings have the capacity to have some sort of screen or laptop. There's always like some sort of closed caption option that can be useful for some people. However, it's not accessible for all deaf, and it's not even accessible for the deaf that it's somewhat accessible for, that it's quote unquote good enough for, because as we can see, if you've watched my content long enough, you know how fucking wrong this captioner fucking is. So you know there's limitations in the accessibility, even for the ones who it's good enough for. And so for other deaf people who don't have English as their first language, or ASL as their preferred language, or they're deaf plus, meaning deaf and other disabilities, or just several reasons, and it could just be the way their mind processes. A lot of deaf people, captioner isn't good enough for them. Some deaf people, they're gonna want you to write things down. You're gonna pass notes. Some deaf people, they're gonna want you to get ASL interpretation. It could, and there's more types of accommodations. Those are just some. Another one would be virtual relay interpreting, or an interpreter in person. So the virtual relay interpreting is when you use a service such as Convo, Convo, or Purple, Purple, obviously the color, things like that. Does provide on-screen interpreters, and for some people that is very accessible. Some people it's a hit, and a lot of times it's a hit and miss, because you never know how good of an interpreter you're gonna get. Some people, they need that agency in face to interpretation. Um, you know what I'm saying? And then with the language, some people they need ASL, some people they need Pigeon Sound English, some people they can do SimCom, and then a lot of deaf people speak. And the fact that a lot of deaf people speak, hearing people will decide if we can speak, we don't need interpretation, but we still do, right? Or we don't need accommodations, but we still do. And so people will use our ability to be quote unquote functional in the hearing world against us, because they think that we are less than. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another issue that we face. And another type of accommodation also is CART, C-A-R-T. Um, and this is, I forget what CART stands for, but something real-time transcript. It's like this real-time transcription and services, where it provides you the text of what is happening. I don't know, I forget what the fuck it stands for. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a real-time transcription, something like that. What the fuck CART stands for? I mean, I know that's what it does, but I'm with the CAR. Fuck, why can't I remember this? Anyway, but there's different ways you can accommodate deaf people. And then in the workplace, in meetings as well, with circular situations, if you're in person, deaf people, if for those of us that lip read, we typically do better if we can see everybody's faces with knowing what's happening. Some deaf people, we have accessories that go with our hearing aids. We might need like you to use a microphone. Depending, there's different types of accommodations that we need. Um, but each individual has different support needs, right? And so the key here is to make sure each individual has our support needs met, is to be able to ask each deaf person, or when they tell you, to accommodate them, and to not gaslight them or infantilize them or treat them less than for trying to tell you how our mind processes information, right? And so these are ways you can be more accessible in the workplace, just by making sure each individual, focusing not on viewing us as a monolith, but as seeing us as humans and as individuals, you know? And by respecting each of us, by accommodating each of our access needs. Because to not do so is discrimination, in my opinion, based on the definitions. So, it's just about making sure there's equal opportunity for all of us to have the same um, opportunity to be able to make a living that anybody else would. But where people, they will deny us access and then just claim, well, we didn't do good enough when we're just not good enough to be there. But in reality, they're just discriminating against us, denying us the ability to exist in the same space, and then blaming us for how bad they treat us. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. So, yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good summary. In conclusion, what we've been discussing today is just kind of wrapping up our conversation about obstacles and access for deaf in society and in the workplace by discussing, obstacles and then access, where we talked about how um, for deaf accommodations, we have different access needs. There's different types of accommodations you can provide to us to support us. Um, and, really, as long as you are meeting each individual where they're at with what they need to have access in your space, then that's how you can at least do your part to try and alleviate issues in income disparity and try and provide more equality for deaf people overall under the constructs of the confines of the capitalism and colonialism that we have to live under. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just, my opinion, what I've processed so far, and where I'm at right now in this journey. So thank you for joining me for my ramble on deaf access and obstacles in the workplace and society for these last few little live streams. I think one day when I process more about all of this, I'll try to put together some type of like presentation or at least a live stream with more sources for you to go directly see and do, and it's less work for you to do that research. But for now, this is just about me discussing with you what I've processed based on my own life, my own lived experience, and everything else that I've been researching that I have been sharing with you and linking to you. So be sure and go check that out. Linked in the description of this video is my Deaf Awareness Month playlist. And in that playlist, I have all of the other playlists related to all of that, and a lot of these videos have the sources linked in the description or the comments. So yeah, it would mean a lot if you check all that out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. Yeah, bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.